In the first 2 months of 2025, the cost of living went up by 1.9%. In February alone, it increased by 1.6% compared to February of 2024. The Consumer Price Index from the Statistical Institute of Belize highlighted that the biggest contributors to this rise were the cost of food and non-alcoholic drinks, housing, utilities, and fuel. Statistician Hefte Ochayeta provided the details.
Under the food and non-alcoholic beverages, we saw that there was an increase of 2.4%. And this was mainly driven by an increase of 12.8% in the prices of fruits and nuts, as we observed several fruits increasing significantly, like watermelon, limes, and pineapple. Cereal products also experienced an increase of 3.3%, as we saw an increase in the price of white bread, biscuits, and pasta products. The beverages components of the food and non-alcoholic beverages also increased, with increases throughout the categories like fruits and vegetable juices by 15.4%, where we experienced increases in all the drinks, like natural orange juice, increasing by 25.3%, fruit drinks, powder drinks, and also in purified water and soft drinks. In the housing and electricity and water and gas and other fuels, we also saw an increase of 2.4%. And this was mainly attributed to an increase in rent of 2.5% for the period, an increase in 6% of LPG, natural gas, butane.
Interestingly, the Consumer Confidence Index showed a drop in confidence among Belizean households in February. This means people were generally feeling pessimistic about their economic future. The index fell from 50.5 in January to 46 in February. The Consumer Confidence Index measures how optimistic or pessimistic consumers are about their finances over the next year. Statistician Jacqueline Sabal explained that the S.I.B surveyed 1,200 households to determine this, with the index ranging from 0, completely pessimistic, to 100, completely optimistic.
The idea behind the CCI is that economic uncertainty or a decline in consumer confidence creates pessimism and reduces desires to spend, while economic optimism encourages consumer confidence and a willingness to make significant purchases and other debt commitments. For the month of February 2025, the Consumer Confidence Index stood at 46. This represents a decrease of 8.9% from January 2025, when the index stood at 50.5.
Although the S.I.B can't pinpoint why people feel the way they do about spending, Director General Diana Castillo noted that they've observed a general improvement in how consumers feel.
There has been a general improvement in consumer sentiment. People have been getting less and less pessimistic, and in general we actually crossed the threshold into optimistic. In February now we saw a slight reversion back to below 50 to pessimistic territory. The general trend has been upwards, but I can't really say why people feel the way they feel. This just captures how they feel.
At S.I.B's first presentation of 2025, they shared data on the GDP growth for the fourth quarter of 2024, revealing that the economy grew by 7.1%. Statistician Christopher Hulse presented these findings.
Goods and services produced in the fourth quarter of 2024 total $1.43 billion. This is an increase of $94.49 million, or 7.1%, when we compare it to the fourth quarter of 2023, which was at $1.33 billion. Looking at the $1.43 billion, we can see how that is spread across the three sectors with taxes. Primary contributed $157.8 million out of that $1.43 billion. Then secondary, $170.3 million. Tertiary, $907.2 million. And then taxes, $190.2 million.
Ronald Oriana shared that Belize did better in the first 2 months of this year in terms of merchandise trade statistics, which track our imports and exports over the past 2 months.
Starting with the merchandise imports,
we have a line graph showing how imports have performed over the past 10 years for the first 2 months of January and February. Despite a current decrease in imports when compared to 2024, imports have been on an upward trend since 2021. The total merchandise imports for the first 2 months of the year amounted to $461 million, down 7.8% or $38.8 million when compared to imports for the first 2 months in 2024. In general, exports have been on a downward trend with notable fluctuations seen across most of these years. The total domestic exports for the first 2 months of 2025 amounted to $40.4 million, representing a growth of 7.7% or $3 million compared to the same period in 2024.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.